Hey, what's up, guys? I said make another video, this time on One Piece again. It's been a while since I made an update. I actually recorded another video, but I just didn't like how, like, my takes. After cooling down a little bit, I was like, nah, shit's ass. But, um, last time we talked, well, I talked, whatever, we were at the Sea Kingdom. Um, and now I am at, like, little over the middle of Cake Island. And holy shit, has this show just like gotten better and better and better. Like I I never had a problem with the earlier episodes, um, but these are definitely better. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I can't stand watching this. Like just hurry up, get to the good part. I enjoyed the whole thing, but this shit is another level. It really is, and it's just so good. So yeah, so the underwater, city, that arc was pretty good, but it was probably like the least interesting one out of everything. And I really liked that arc. I had no problem with the arc. The villains were fucking annoying, but that's how villains are. I love the mermaid princess. She's so cute. Um, I love I just love how like they make these characters and they make you like, like they make them become friends with all these people around the world, like, during these arcs. And I'm hoping that one day, I don't know when it's going to be, but there's going to be a moment where they all come together to help Luffy. And I think that something like that is coming with the whole the Straw Hat Pirate Alliance, which I was kind of annoyed at first when I saw, like, oh, he's not going to accept them into the Straw Hats, but then they kind of just agreed to follow him no matter what, which was awesome. But, yeah, so like I said, I really like that arc. The Sea Island arc, whatever. Like I said, I thought that it was pretty good. I ended up liking a lot of the characters, but it just wasn't. It's not as good as like Dressel or something like that. So, um, yeah. So finally, getting past that, they introduced Big Mom with that, and that's where I'm at now. So it's interesting to see her. uh I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with that. I get it, like from a story and like it realistic perspective, how Luffy can't beat all these guys like by himself. Like he has a few of his crew, but he doesn't have everyone. And okay, well let me try to get through Dressel first. It's just that's what was most recent, so that's what I'm talking about. Dressel was really good. um Fucking Doflamingo was awesome. Like a terrible villain, but you love it. And like the whole Dressrosa thing. Like there was a moment in there where like sometimes this is like never really happened for this show though, where I'll get kind of bored. It's never like, oh, I don't want to keep watching, but it's like like things are just going wrong, and then they'll do some crazy shit. Like it was so fucking good. Like all the backstory and stuff with the king and how he manipulated him into killing his subjects, and it was so fucking good. And Rebecca's mom, that shit was sad. Especially for the I can't remember his name, so I'll just call him the soldier. The soldier guy, like how his wife forgot about him. Like that's like the worst thing. Like that's honestly the worst thing. Is like, damn, that shit hit hard because it's like, oh, man, it just because he remembers all that, but she doesn't. So and she just dies, and he can't do anything about it. Sabo being alive, I fucking called it. I remember, I just remembered Sabo. I literally called it last video. You can check that shit out, 100%. Um, it was awesome what they did. I was kind of hoping, now this like is just me kind of like going over some shit, but I was kind of hoping Luffy would eat the devil fruit because I know that they say you can only eat one devil fruit, and something. I just thought like maybe they'd do something like that where he gets more overpowered. But I think if there was any other character to have it, it definitely is Sabo, and I love Sabo, and it was good to see Sabo. Um, it was just he was so good in that arc, and how he's like, Luffy's my brother, I'll take care of him. Like, call me anytime you need me, and I'll like leave my duties, whatever, because you're my brother, and that was so good. And how he was working with Dragon was interesting. I wanted to see Dragon and Luffy meet. I kind of like how Luffy doesn't really give a shit. Like, I like that. It's like, I just feel like that's kind of, it's realistic. Like, you never met this guy. You don't know, like, you know who his name is. Like, the dude didn't even know he had a father. It's like the dude, left you, whatever. And maybe he'll probably end up having a good reason. But it's like, if you're Luffy, it's like, well, I can't really get into Luffy's shoes just because he's so upbeat and so, like, great. But, I like that, how he's not super interested. He's like, whatever. Um, yeah, so let me think about anything else, Dressella. The arena stuff was good. I thought that that's what they were gonna do the whole thing. That's what I was kind of getting bored with, and then they threw in the okay, he's leaving, Sabo's alive. They're going to do all this shit. Frankie and the fucking baby dude. Holy shit! How you give a good backstory with something like that, like, is just masterful. Like, it really just is. Where I gotta give the guy props. Like, it's this like throwaway kind of gag. Oh, this dude wears a diaper. He does all this shit, and then they make you like give a good, not a good reason, but like, well, yeah, kind of a good reason for him to be doing that, like a sad backstory, and you care. And at the end, when Frankie says, like, what'd you think about to make you cry? Like, he's knocked out, and he's like, you know, I hope we, if fate allows us to meet again one day, let's, let's share a beer, and you can tell me about, I can't remember the woman's name, but his wife. I don't know if I feel like she's still alive just because they didn't show her dying, but I don't know. But that was such a good moment, where it's just like this respect for each other, and like at first it's like played as kind of like a joke, but then they really like do it like really well, and it's like, man, I love Frankie, dude. I love Frankie so much, and I was surprised when Sanji and the others left. I didn't really expect that, but then when they did, it was like, okay, that's. I think this is the first time. Um, no, no, it's not. I was gonna say the first time the group split up, but like, I guess kind of like they left on their own. Like, I think that's the first time of that. I could be wrong, but yeah. So I just okay. So going on with that, I thought Sanji was in it. What is going on? Like, he leaves. Law is fucking awesome. I loved his backstory. I love Corazon. Uh, so good. Like, just really, really good stuff. You know, um, even fucking Doflamingo's backstory was good. Like, he's a piece of shit, but I do like get. There's a lot of things like they make you kind of like understand. Even if you don't agree, you understand like some of the reasons they act the way that they do, and it was just really well done. Like, their father is dumb as fuck. Like, yeah, he really did fuck the entire family over. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if if I was in his shoes, I could pull the trigger, but I could see. Like, I don't know, maybe because all the shit that happened was like literally 85% his fault. Like, yes, he was good intentioned, but that doesn't matter. You got to think what's best for your family, and you didn't. So, well, you kind of did. I don't know, but it didn't work out. But Corazon ended up being like really good. Because they mentioned him a few times, and they mentioned him during the Poison Island arc, which that's after the ocean thing. I'm like forgetting about that arc, which was really good too. It's just like, since I've watched so much, I should have made a video sooner, but yeah. So it was, they teased that Trafficker Law is so good. I really like him. Oh, and I wanted to mention this before I forget. I don't think Luffy and Smoke are ever gonna fight. Like, I think that they're kind of past that point where it's like they could maybe fight, but Luffy would beat his ass like instantly because like Law beat the guy, and he's stronger than Law, and like sometimes like he needs motivation to do it. But I just think like he's past that level now, where it's like, I don't know, just the whole like the Poison Island. I can't remember the name of the arc. Um, with that, like, with Smoker and everything, kind of showed how like not weak they were, but like how much the crew has grown. And I think they showed that even more than in the Sea Island arc, whatever, because Fishman Island, and just because they all kind of go all out in that one, and fuck, it was just so good. I just that moment was like, okay, it seemed like they kind of resolved things mostly between Smoker and the pirates. I was like, no, they still have this thing, but it's kind of like it's light, like I don't know, like it's just like it's not hatred. And the whole thing with the at the end where they're having the party, and I love how they have the party like after everyone. It's kind of funny. Well, it's fun. It's fun, like to have those light moments after everything happened, and yeah, that shit was just peak. But at the end where they're having, this party or whatever, and then they're like, stay back, you're criminals, you're scum, we don't want to be next, whatever. And I was getting pissed off. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then the kids start crying because, yeah, they did something that the government, like, I fucking hate the world government. It needs to go down, bro. But you know who needs to go down even more than the world government? That fucking guy in the yellow suit. I can't stand him, dude. I don't know if I mentioned this last video, um, or not. I can't remember because he first appears before the time skip, so it was like, but I fucking can't stand him. His voice, his fucking face, his like lip thing. I can't do it because I'm not fucking stupid. Like I don't know. Like oh my god, he pisses me off. Chill, but yeah, the world government needs to go down. I think they will eventually. I don't know what's gonna happen though with that, but yeah, so the whole island thing and with the kids getting like getting drugged up was so fucked, and the kids were like so cute, especially the girl. I can't remember her name. How she ends up like managing to be able to get out of the like induced state or whatever. The drug induced state and help them, and she almost like ODs on the stuff. Was just so good. Like she was such a good character, and I love like that. Like it was so good, and they ended up being able to save him. And I like I said, I like Smoker in that whole group, and like some of the Navy isn't all that bad, but I really don't like them that much either because it's just like they're like I don't know, like the blind guy during Dressrosa really had that moment where it was like, okay, I owe these guys, and he leaks the story that the Straw Hats actually helped because during the arc with Vivi, uh, uh, I can't remember the name of the arc, but they end up covering it up like they were the good guys, like they didn't do anything, like like somehow pushing the blame away from themselves. And I like how the guy didn't let him do that, and then he got chewed out or whatever. It was like fuck him, like I don't give a shit. Like you guys don't do shit. Like I want to see those fucking old bitches get their ass beat too. The old like the world council, not the world council, but the leaders of the government. And I'm thinking something's got to happen during that world summit, which they tease things. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be next, and then they do something else. But you don't mind because it's interesting. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. So Caesar Clown was a piece of shit, and then I like how they kind of like just make him a bitch. Like after like he's done being a threat, he's just a bitch. So that was pretty cool. Um, Yeah, okay, let me try to think if there's anything else about Dressrosa before I jump into the one. Oh, well, I also like I can't remember the thing, but the name, but the animal people arc. It was small, but it was good. And I like that. I wouldn't mind more of smaller arcs like that. They introduce all these characters, and like for once the Straw Hats show up and they're not immediately like hated or like the villains or whatever. Like, of course, they almost fight, but it was such a good moment. And I didn't know what happened with Sanji, and then that's what plays a big part. I just, and then finally revealing that the samurai, like, the guy's not his son and he's the leader. And that was really interesting, how they all form this alliance at this point where they're just like, yeah, we'll stop the guy together. And I can't even remember his fucking name at this point because I'm like so focused on the Arkham now. Um, it was just so good. But that moment where they're like, okay, yeah, we're a team. The pirate, the pirate ninja samurai alliance or something like that. I don't think that's really it, but it's something, some mix of that. And no, and the animal people's name, I forget that, but that was so good in that moment when Luffy agrees to it, and then he's like, "You should Lost, like you should have talked to me, like, we should decide this together because we're allies." And he's just like, yeah, but you're cool with it, right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, so there's no problem. And I just really like the relationship. I love the whole kind of like, oh, I want to be friends with you. Oh, I'm just doing this business, like kind of friendships that they get. Because they cares about him more than he lets on. Like, he is his friend, he just doesn't want to admit it. So, yeah, so seeing all that, seeing that arc, the elephant was kind of cool. It was interesting how Luffy wasn't the one to calm the elephant down or like give it orders. I thought that's what was gonna happen. I feel like I don't know, like I guess it's kind of showing Luffy isn't like the master of everything, like where he can do everything. He can control every like not power because he only has the Gum power, but you know what I mean. Um, like outside forces and stuff. So it was interesting seeing that, but it's like I just want to see Luffy like do basically everything. Not everything, because of course I want the other characters to shine too. But whatever. But anyway, so after that arc, they agree. You finally find out what they need to get to the One Piece, which made it feel like the show was about to end. Like, because I've said this many times. 1,000 episodes feels like a lot, but when you're kind of watching it, and I'm watching One Piece, so I'm skipping like a lot of the filler, all that shit. But it still feels like you think it'll feel long, but it really doesn't. Like, and once again, it's not all about finding the One Piece, and I don't mind that either. It's just like these characters, this group, it's so good. I love the Straw Hats. I love like all these characters they introduced. Bartholomew was fucking funny as hell. I loved him. I didn't expect him to be a massive fanboy with them. And just like I said, that mutual respect at the end, where they're like, okay, you don't have to drink like to make us your subordinates, but we'll be there for you whenever you need us, and we swear, like basically, we'll be unofficial, official Straw Hats, basically. I'll be there, and I'm hoping that they appear in this arc, the the Cake Cake Island or something. Fuck's sake, why can't I remember? I just said it earlier, but that might be it. But anyway, um, yeah, so that was pretty good. I just love that where it's like, okay, now he has like 3,000 men or something like that, not under his command, but kind of under his command. I really like that, and I like that. At first I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're not gonna accept him." But I like it was even better when they were like, "Okay, we'll do it." I was kind of hoping they'd take the straw hat flag just because like it'd be cool, but they're still like basically Luffy's subordinates, even if he doesn't want it. So that was just such a good moment where they all do that. And the narrator's like, oh yeah, and they say something like, oh, there's a big thing that's gonna happen, whatever, that's gonna change the world. I don't think that's the world government, the world summit. I actually think that might be Cake Island. I'm hoping it is because that's the only way that they win. Okay, I want to get into Cake Island now. I'll jump back if I think of anything else. But Cake Island was really good. You see Big Mom, he threatens Big Mom, whatever, and then Sanji leaves to go get married, whatever. His family's a piece of shit. Once again, he's a better man than I. Probably most of us, like, where he not forgives him, but, like, doesn't want him to die. Besides the sister, I like the sister. Obviously, she's not perfect, but she was the only one that really even gave half a shit about Sanji, so that was good, and I really like her, and she's like, oh, we have to fall, we have to die, whatever, and I wouldn't mind that. But then with Sanji, and when they first say like he wants to save him, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But then when he tells the leader, I don't want to call him his father because he doesn't want to go, but he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, because I don't want my father to be disappointed in me, because I have to be a better man. Like, it's like, yeah, fuck you. Like, and I'm so glad he admits, like, yeah, I'm not your father. Because it's like, I can't fucking stand that. He treats him like shit, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm your father, give me this respect. Nah, like, you were. Like, no, bro, you fucking chain me up, lock me up, give me, like, heaven whole Iron Mask treatment. Like, fuck you. But, yeah, so that was something where I like them, and I like seeing. I mean, once again, I don't like them. Like, I really have no emotional attachment. It seems like the father's changing a little bit, where he kind of feels grateful because he's the only one that feels emotions, basically. But him. I just wish the sister was around more. Like, I wouldn't mind if she was. I don't want to say a straw hat, but maybe because I just like her. You know, she's nice. She's not nice, but she's you like her. And you know, I thought that the whole wedding thing, like, I gotta say, I gotta admit this 100%. Sugar fucking scammed me, bro. I was in. I was 100% into that shit. I remembered the Cyclops from that thing, but I felt like I remember because I remember thinking this. I was like, okay, where's the Cyclops, lady? And I was like, oh, maybe they just, the writer decided to go past it. You know, when they show something in the future and then something's different. I thought that's what it was like. Obviously, I didn't give Oda enough credit, so all the credit deserves it. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Like she really did get me, and that whole moment was so fucking sad because I was really rooting for Sanji. Like honestly, I don't know. I don't really want him to get with anyone from the Straw Hats. Like I know I don't think he will, but I just it's like I want like I don't mind these characters finding something like for later. Where it's like okay, we're gonna return like Usopp and that one bitch I can't remember her name. It seems like they kind of have a thing, but um yeah, something like that. But it was but I really was like okay, I'm happy for him. Like yeah, like that because that was like oh that's the one good thing, right? And then she's like talking mad shit. And I'm like, oh my god! You just see him like that. That moment with him like trying to smoke in the rain was so good. Like they don't show his eyes, and it's just like, man, that shit actually hit me hard. I was tearing up. I might have cried a little bit. I don't know. I can't remember, but I at least teared up. I know that because that shit hit hard. Um, yeah, like I don't know. I don't know what to think about. Oh no, I said sugar. It's pudding. Um, about pudding because now, like I said, I'm like right in the middle, like where they're leaving, and she just told like her, Lola's twin sister, that she wants to help Sanji escape because of that, and I don't know if I can believe her or not because she's crying, like because at first I was really like just fuck her, whatever. And then they start showing a little bit of like how nobody accepted her and everyone's calling her ugly and shit 'cause she got a third eye. Did I call her Cyclops earlier? I don't know what the third eye third eye name is. Um, but and that was sad, and they kind of show the backstory and all that, and that once again, like I don't know, like if she comes through, she wasn't as bad as I think she was. I think like it seems like she really does care about baking, and Sanji's good cook. So they had that in common. I kind of like that. So I don't know. Like I just don't know if I can believe her. I really want to though because I don't want her to be a bad person. Like once again, she doesn't really have. I don't know. Like you don't know. Like what's the point where you're like, oh yeah, I can forgive that. Because this happened and that happened and whatever. And what's the point where you're like, no, like I don't even, like I said, where it's like, oh, you understand, like some of why they are what they are, but you don't accept what they've done or like feel like they deserve redemption. It feels like that might be what they're setting up. Like I don't know. I really don't know. I hope she's not like on some bullshit, but I feel like she can be. I really I don't know. I kind of hope that she realizes like damn Sanji actually accepted her for who she was and was the first person to say your third eye's not ugly, whatever. Which yeah, like that was fucked up when she was like, "Oh yeah, when you reveal your veil and you reveal your disgusting third eye, he'll be shocked." And I knew Sanji wasn't gonna be shocked, but I just love how like he is like genuinely like just a good guy. He's all flirty and shit, but he never really takes it too far, and he's always like he is a gentleman actually. So it's like, you know, when he said that, I was like, "Oh man, that was so good." And she's shooting him and she's missing and he's walking towards her. That was great once again. Uh, Luffy and him reuniting was also really good when Luffy was letting him beat his ass. I also love that too. Like yeah, that's fucked up, but like you know why he's doing it. The reason he feels like he has to do it. But like still like you're just like damn like Luffy like knows he's just taking it because he knows he knows what he's saying is bullshit. Like, something's going on. He's, he trusts. He's like, I remember you telling me about the all blue. He doesn't say this, but like, His show flashback. I remember you telling me about the old blue and how that was your dream, and I remember the look in your eye. You know, that's kind of what like I was thinking he was thinking, and that's kind of how it felt. Where it's like, no, there's no way you were lying like that. You know, and you really thought that we were low class and everything. So I don't know. Also, it's just like the I think it's Genma or something like that. Germa. I don't know. Something along those lines. Uh, I don't know why the fuck they're so hoity-toity. They ain't got shit. Like, not ain't got shit, but like, I don't know. Like, they talking a bit too much shit for like what they are. Like, okay, like I don't even know how strong they are. Like, I was thinking like that Sanji was gonna say like you don't even rely on your own strength. Like you're weak. You know, like Sanji don't need no armor, no shit to be able to beat ass. Right. So I was kind of thinking like, oh, but then I thought, oh, well, Frankie, I don't know if that really contradicts that or not. But yeah, so that I don't know. Like I just like what they did with that, the whole family. I once again, I don't give a shit about the brothers. I really think like I don't know, like if they're really gonna try anything with them, because they're the worst. And also, if they just don't have emotions, they genuinely are monsters. I don't care if they get killed. Like kill them off. I was watching. I wanted to hear people talk about One Piece when I was watching. So I watched Penguin Zero Moist Critical video. Because I remember him talking about how he didn't like the show and it was like bad and all that. But then I remember him saying, "Oh, it ends up getting better." So I was listening to him talk about it, and he talks about how no one dies. And I was like, that shit is so true because I think I mentioned this in the first video. I was so pissed when like they do the guy like went to go sacrifice himself with the fucking like atom bomb and survived. Like that was some shit where he should have died. But they have gotten a bit better with that. But I'm hoping like the tree, dude. I don't want the tree to die. I just fucking said that. But it's like, damn, dude, that tree went out bad. And like you see Nami, she feels bad about it's so funny seeing her like be this like like master manipulator kind of deal. But like yeah, like damn, I just felt bad for the tree. Like it's like he just wants to be with his lady tree. But man, I don't know. I don't know. But I said like, oh, I want people to die, but then I'm like, oh, I don't want the tree to die. I don't know. But trying to think here. I'm wondering where Lola's father is. Because they free him from the thing, from the forest. That I wish they got rid of the mirror bitch. That's who I hope died. Like because she's always like, oh, because she's talking mad shit the whole time. Like they got her captured. It's like fuck you, bitch. Like now you're done. You've had your moment. You lost. You're done. Like there is no oh I'm stronger. I'm coming back now for you type shit. You are done. You are a bitch villain. You're done. But like so when she gets freed, I was hoping one of the brothers or whatever would kill her because oh you betrayed Big Mom even though you did this whatever. It's like I don't give a shit. I don't care about like any of the children of Big Mom. I'm trying to think. I don't even like the tiger guy, bro. Like what the fuck? Like whole. I'm just like going on and on, but I can't fucking stand that. Like the guy gets shot, and yes, it was by the mafia guy, which I also like him not being like a total evil guy. I thought that's how that was gonna go. I'm hoping they end up like actually becoming like friends with them. Because what I was thinking is, I wouldn't mind if like in the future, Luffy is gonna become king of the pirates. That's just how it is. But if they kept the emperor thing, like he could be one of the emperors. I just think that would be cool. Like I mentioned this in the past video, but I think I could be wrong. But I think Law's gonna die. I would like him to be an emperor, but I just think he's like because they mentioned that surgery that'll give someone infinite youth, but you die if you do it. Like I just feel like he'll do it maybe for like Luffy when like he's about to die, to save his life. I feel like that's how it could go, but I'm not certain. And I hope I'm wrong. But I just felt like with how they were mentioning that, like giving him an ability like that makes me feel like yeah they're gonna use it. Okay, so back to Cake Island. Um, yeah, I don't like any of the children. I really like even like their like on their own. I don't like any of them. Um, well, that one bitch, the fucking tall bitch, she kind of a bad bitch. Like they got some bad bitches in this show, but I'm just focused on the story. But yeah, so that shit was so good. Like just that whole like the whole wedding thing was so good. Like I said, I think I said this in the beginning. I don't like how Luffy has to run, but like it makes sense. But it's like before, he's just jumping into shit head first, and I do like how like when he fights the cracker guy. I was about to say gingerbread. And they show like how he's having trouble beating him, and it's because like yeah, like he overestimates himself, and that's how 90% of people are. Like 90% of pirates who come to the New World are, and I kind of like it's like yeah, you can't even beat that one guy. Like yes, he's one of the bigger guys, but I think like I don't think he's the weakest of them, but I think he's like the second weakest. So the first weakest would be that the guy who can tell the future in like a few seconds. His fucking cream puff power is bitch made, dude. Like that was some bullshit. Like, he's just making cream and stuff. That sounds sus, but yeah, like when he saved like Big Mom and all this shit, I can't remember if he saved Big Mom or whatever. Because I thought like, oh shit, she's gonna die. I just don't know how you get out of this situation without Big Mom being defeated. You've given her whole story, her whole like her thing, what happened, how she became. Once again, that was something that was good too. It's like, damn, you feel bad for her. At first, I was confused as fuck, right? And then it hit me, but like when the guy says like, "Oh, she ate a devil fruit," like how'd she use that power? And it was because she ate all the fucking orphans and the mother who's obviously evil. Like they can't even have one nice fucking parrot figure out here. No, they do, but like Zev's awesome. But it was like damn, like she cares about her. She didn't give a shit, but damn, like finding out she ate them all was fucking crazy because that didn't hit me at first. It really didn't. But then I was thinking about it, and I also saw a comment on something. And I was like, oh shit, like she did, didn't she? But yeah, that was super sad because it was like you think that the kids actually kind of hate her, and that's how it was gonna be. But then they like, I don't know, like that was sad. I don't know, dude. Like, but once again, I still am like, fuck you. Like, that's one of those things where it's like you understand, but you don't forgive. Uh, yeah, so the whole wedding thing was awesome as fuck. Just Luffy jumping out of the cake, him forming like an alliance. I don't know. I think they call it an alliance, but it's not an alliance like it is with Law, where they're actually friends. At least not yet. Um, I also like how Lola's sister is actually like likes to be with the mafia guy. How like she actually loves him. I really like that. Like that's something where it's like I felt like oh, I thought he was gonna be evil and they were gonna get rid of him and it wouldn't have mattered because like yes he cares about his son maybe, but I don't know. I just thought that he was like I thought he was an evil guy basically is what I thought, and I was surprised that I was wrong for the most part. Like I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping him and Luffy don't become enemies in the future, just because I want like some more. I want more people to to join Luffy, not like even under the Straw Hats, but just like okay, you're gonna be Pirate King, right? Just like it's like whatever. But that's a tough ask, but still, uh, yeah, that wedding shit was so good. And then it's like immediately when they're like run, it was like it just like I said, it's so crazy because it's like yes, they've been like kind of hiding, but holy shit, like this is like they've never had to run before besides Marineford. But that was like it was Luffy on his own, already like done a whole bunch of fighting and like was injured and all this shit where you're like at the point of like okay, that makes like he didn't even run away himself. He got not like he got his mind got broken and then he fucking got taken away by Jinbei. But for this to be like where they're like okay, we can't defeat her now, whatever. I kind of like. I felt like it was disappointing. It makes sense. It absolutely does. So I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. But Luffy's supposed to be that guy, where he pulls up and every single time he defies expectations. I think the main reason that they have to run is because Well, it seemed like they know, like they don't even think they can like hurt Big Mom at all, but like it's all her children because yeah, they are all um mostly strong, I think. But it's I'm hoping that what I said earlier with the where the narrator said, "Oh, it's gonna something big happens, it changes the world," but that's a story for another time. I'm hoping that it's not at the World Council and it's here, and they pull up, they somehow figure out, okay, Luffy's been here. We said we come and help when we need to, especially since they showed the giant guy in the Mama flashbacks. So I'm thinking like maybe he'll show up with that, and I just think like that's what it needs to be like, where it's like you have enough people to fight the siblings. Yeah, I mean I don't know, like I said, I don't want to be like too harsh on it because it does make sense. It's just I kind of want that crazy shit where it's like even if like he barely wins, he still wins. But they're not even really doing a fight; they're running. And once again, like I just said, it makes sense, but still. So I'm hoping that's what happens because they have to defeat her here. They can't run away. Also, I was thinking, he was like, "Oh, Luffy's like, oh, I'll come back after I defeat the other emperor," and it's like, bro, you can't even defeat Big Mom. Like, yeah, you'll be able to defeat his subordinates, but like, if you can't even like hurt Big Mom at all, what are you doing? I'm just interested to see where that goes because like I said, I just don't, you can't go into her territory, introduce all these characters, show her her backstory, and then kind of have it like, okay, we'll come back later. Like, no, she has to go down now. And I don't know, like I thought like when the cake was falling, oh maybe she'll go down with that, but then of course she gets saved, so fuck that. But like maybe that's the way that they do it. I was already gonna be like disappointed because Luffy didn't do it, but I'm like, you know what? As long as she's gone, whatever. I just I don't think the show. I could be wrong because once again, Oda is like a fucking master. He knows what he's doing. So I'll say something and I'll end up being wrong. Like, but I just right now with the information we have now, I don't want them to let her go. Like we have to come back later. It has to end here and now. And I think probably the only way that happens is if uh, the Straw Hat Alliance shows up. So that's it. Trying to think if there's anything else. We had something. I did have something I wanted to bring up, but I fucking forgot. I can't remember. But I also I'm still thinking about pudding too. Like I'm sure some of you guys have watched past this point probably if you're watching this video, if anyone's watching it, whatever. I'm just like so curious. Like I don't know what to believe because I feel like they could play it like where it's like obviously she's lying or like now she's telling the truth, and I just hope she is because she hasn't. I don't think she's really done anything that bad. Like, well, she probably has, but like, to the people we care about, like you see her. Her little flashbacks or whatever, and it's like I wouldn't mind if she fucking killed those kids, bro. Like do what you gotta do. Like I know that's like not the right thing, but it's like when all these kids be doing fucked up shit like that, I'm like, bro, I don't give a shit. Whatever, do what you gotta do. Um, so if she ends up siding with the Straw Hats and helps them, then she's a character I can be like, okay, I can forgive you. Like I can, you said all this fucked up shit about Sanji, but it's kind of because you're broken. Like you have all these issues. I don't know, but I'm just interested to see where that goes. Uh, oh yeah, so I don't think I mentioned really the Sanji reunion with Luffy. So when he gets captured and he almost rips his fucking arms off, that shit was crazy. I thought he might do it, but then they reveal like he can somehow regrow his arms or something. I just thought like that shit was insane because he gets trapped in this book. I'm sitting here, I'm like, damn, like that was it was kind of like, damn, that kind of fucking sucks. Like, where are we getting this? Because I didn't want him to get captured, but it was so cool. I like even when like he gets taken out, it's because like he was fighting all night with the cracker guy. Then he was got his ass beat by by Sanji, like badly, like very badly, like he didn't defend at all. And then he's fighting all these guys, and he hasn't eaten, and it's like, yeah, like, and he still takes down all those guys. like I do love that. And I do actually like that they use it as as an excuse. Like he's not full power, and I think he's less at that point. He still is, but it's not as serious now. Where he has to take fights seriously. Where it takes him a bit. Like yeah, he'll get his ass beat, but then something will happen. And he'll take it seriously. He does take fights more seriously now. Not completely, but it's not as often, which I do like, where he's like holding back or he's not giving it his all. So yeah, that was good. But then that fight, that whole scene when they meet back up, and they're just like, he's like, oh, there are three reasons I can't go back or whatever, and then he punches him and he's like, you're lying. What do you really want? And he's just like to go back to the sunny. That shit was good, but like, because it was like his Nami moment. I also really like Sanji in this arc, just because like they really do tone down like the flirting and shit. Like even with Pudding, like when he finds out like that she's like evil, whatever. I was kind of like when she started like flirting with him, and he knew, and he's like getting the hard eyes. That pissed me off. But like for the most part, Sanji's been like able to, he's put it aside. I'm here for my friends. This is it. When you had all those maids, he had hard eyes for a second, but then he got serious. And I really liked that they did that with Sanji, where they gave him, like actually, like where he can actually, you know, like I don't think he can fight a woman. I think that they made that pretty clear. And like the way that they showed it makes more sense to me now, because originally I was a little annoyed, um, especially during that fight. I think it was in Ina's lobby, like the one after that when they're in the tower, and there was that, yeah, because there was that girl with the soap shit, yeah, and he like got his ass beat pretty bad because he couldn't fight her. I was like, that was annoying, but showing more of why he doesn't like all this shit, it made more sense. And so I knew nothing like that was gonna happen, but then also that limits your options, right? It's like who who can fight women basically. It's like, yeah, I guess like Nami could, but I don't know, like cuz she's strong, but she's not as strong as these people. Like I like when they show off like, yes, she does have like stuff, like she can take out goons and stuff, but she's not like an A-lister. And I don't say that like because I don't want her to be. Like if she was as strong as like Sanji or Zoro or whatever, I wouldn't mind it. But like they've kind of made it a point with Usopp, that they're on a whole nother level. Like we're humans, they're on a whole nother level. Which, speaking of that, I also don't wonder. I said I was gonna end it with that. I remember a whole bunch of shit. Um, when they did that stuff on the unborn children to make them emotionless monsters, and the woman took the toxin or whatever, they said like, oh, he's a normal human, but like, does he have that like exoskeleton type shit that they were talking about, that like they have like built into them, and is that why he's stronger? Like, I don't know, because it's like he's a regular human, but he's going like hard. And so is Zoro, but it's like sword skills are kind of different. Like the dude's kicking. Like I don't, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know with that one, but that's just something I was thinking about. Uh, oh yeah. So what I was saying is, I wonder who's gonna fight. Like all these women, we need more players. Is basically what I'm saying. And if the gang shows up, good. I think I'm actually gonna be pretty disappointed if they get away. And like obviously I want them to get away, but I want them to defeat Big Mom. So it's kind of like I'll be disappointed, but I won't be disappointed for long, because Oda just is a master at telling stories. I'll be like, man, this is some bullshit. I don't like this person. Then you get the backstory, like fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really trying to think about anything else, because this video is running long. I should make more, but I just really like keep watching. Like I don't want to make more. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. I wonder what happened to Lola's dad. I think I might have mentioned that before, but like he was there, trapped in the forest, and then they freed him. So I wonder where he is. Um, I'm hoping that like I said, um, Pudding is telling the truth. I think that would be great. Like to Fuck the lion guy. I want to talk about that. I didn't really talk about it that much. You can just get into that, and then I'm done. But the lion guy, I can't remember his name, is such a bitch. I can't fucking stand him, dude. You think like, oh, because Luffy's like, oh, he's my friend. No, he's not, dude. Like, he's a bitch. Like, what is wrong with him? Like, okay, he gets shot up by Gen, the mafia guy, and then he also saw the guy like Big Mom almost killed like someone he really looks up to, like took 50 years off his life. So they're doing all that, but then you kind of have the nerve like to be like, okay, well he saved him, and then the uh the fuck Sam Jinbei's crew was like, tie him up, and he's like, oh, let me go, I have to help Big Mom. And then when he comes back and he's like, oh, they thought Big Mom, they tried to do like I'm mad at them. Like, fuck you, you little bitch. Like, oh my god, I can't stand this motherfucker. If he does not stand up, this is it. Like, there's not gonna be any, oh, I like no. Like, if you don't stand up at a moment in this arc, let Big Mom fucking kill you. I don't give a shit. Good day. Like Like, fuck, that was so goddamn annoying. I really couldn't stand that. After all Luffy had done for them, and after, like, especially she hurt his friend, he got, shot in the back. Like, yes, he thinks, like, Big Mom would have forgiven him, but, like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I just don't fuck with that. And the way that they're doing that is annoying. Yeah, I don't know. But, like I said, hoping for the best. Man, I'm up there because I'm really worried about what's gonna happen, especially about the pudding thing. Like I said, because I have a bit of hope for her, but I was wrong last time, so I could be wrong this time. It was just that was like such a big thing where I was so like it was so crazy how badly I was fooled. But anyway, that's about it. Peace.